Hello guys and welcome to my new video. It's gameplay week and I will show off my new green-blue deck against various meta decks. The first video this week will be against purple steel, which should be a good matchup for my deck. I will go over the lists and the gameplay so you can learn and profit from my mistakes. Have fun, let's go! So this is the list I've been playing. I made a couple changes to my initial green-blue list. I added a couple more 3-drop Clarabelles to have more consistent shift lines and also added 4 copies of Develop Your Brain so I can find the cards I really need. The rest is pretty much the same I showed you a couple weeks back. And this was the purple steel list I was up against. Dex was the player and he changed a couple cards from Martin's list I showed you in my recent mirror video. So this is his purple steel list with some skater mims for challenging, some reach with White Rose and Cobra, and of course Dumbo and Isma split. And for removal he runs 2 copies of Fire the Cannons, 4 copies of Strength the Raging Fire, and the rest is pretty much standard purple steel. Yeah, with some evasive tech against evasive matchups. Let's see how it goes and yeah, have fun with the gameplay. In game number 1 I was on the play and my game plan here is to get the shift Clarabelle as soon as possible and of course have the turn to ramp. He fired the cannons instantly my small Clarabelle and kinda destroys my game plan early on, but I have the ramp with Tipo so I can start dropping my big characters in turn 3 already. And yeah, I think Fire the Cannons is a good play for purple steel against like shift decks looking for the shift in turn 1, and he's dropping 2 1-drop characters in turn 2, Happy and Captain Hook. So I ink heads held high, go for Scrooge McDuck with 5/5 and decided to not quest with Tipo here because sometimes I need the singers on board. He's dropping a Genie Dragon, not doing anything with his other characters. I'm on 5 ink now and I play the ramp Donald Duck going up to 6 ink and decide to quest with Scrooge McDuck here, go to 2 lore. He is playing a Genie, drawing a card, and then he's thinking, okay, what can I do here? And he's deciding to go into my Scrooge McDuck with both his characters, Happy and Captain Hook, taking out my Scrooge, so he's trading 2 characters versus 1. I'm at 6 ink already. I think I have only 3 cards in hand. I'm thinking you're welcome on my own Tipo, so I can draw more cards. Because yeah, I think I remember I didn't have ink for playing my 7-drop card, so I was looking for inkable cards and yeah, I think I found it. Ink a small Clarabelle, dropping a big Clarabelle and already profiting, drawing 2 cards of big Clarabelle, which is huge in this matchup. So on the play you want to have your shift as early as possible, which is possible in turn 4. At 5 ink you can shift the big Clarabelle so you can gain hand cards and card advantage against your opponent. He's inking an Isma, he's at 5 ink, also has a Genie Dragon on board, has a Genie Evasive on board. With 3 ink he plays a Calhoun and he fired the cannons on my donut and finish it off with Genie, leaving 3 damage on his Genie, which is Bell value, and I know his list, so I knew he has Bell in his deck and he's already at 5 ink, so next turn Bell could come, but I can't really do anything against evasive characters with my list other than Hades or You're Welcome. I drop another Scrooge McDuck for 4 ink, so I have 3 more ink available. I opt to just dump my hand, play a Tipo, play the small Clarabelle, leaving me with 1 hand card. But he also has only 1 card in hand. And I opt to just do nothing here, I think. Because he could like take out my Clarabelle with Genie Dragon and Calhoun. Or like I mentioned with Bell. So he's at 5 ink. He is of dropping the 5-cost Elsa and he's taking out my Clarabelle. leaving 3 damage on Genie, questing for 2, going up to 4 lore. Yeah, and then I drop my first Hades. Of course, I aim for Genie. I quest with Scrooge because he has 5 strength, 5 willpower, so he's hard to take out, and he can trade with Elsa if he buffs Elsa. I also quest with Tipo here, so I just kind of invite him to challenge. He's dropping a Diablo, he's dropping a dog, drawing of 2 cards. This is what you want to see, like dump your hand, find a dog, draw more cards, and he's taking out my Tipo with Elsa. And I'm kind of living from the top now, only with 2 cards in hand, but preparing 7 ink, dropping another Hades, aiming for the Rose, because not the Rose, the Cobra, because the Cobra has 4 strength and is a threat to my bigger characters. And I just quest with Scrooge and Hades here. He's dropping another Genie Dragon and another dog, drawing 2 more cards, which is huge, dropping a Jafar, giving a character +2 challenger, and questing for 2. He's going into my Scrooge with his Diablo, drawing off another card, so having more options in hand. And I think he found Strength of Raging Fire, aiming for my Scrooge McDuck here, taking him out. And then he just quests with Dog, going up to 5 lore. But my board is impressive. I have 2 Hades, a small Clarabelle, but he has no hand cards, so I can't really profit from a big Clarabelle here. Aiming for Sail the Azure Sea, find more cards I need. Dropping another Scrooge, and I'm at 10 lore, questing for another 4 with both Hades, going up to 14, and then passing turn to him. He is also a relatively wide board. I'm looking for the Under the Sea, which would be devastating here. And he's finding the Rose, gaining 1 more lore. And he again is trading 2 of his characters into 1 of mine. His Genie Dragon survives with 3 damage, which is huge. So he can again profit from Bell the next turn. And he's questing for 4, going up to 9 lore, I think, here at this point. And having a rather wide board here. So I have a couple options in hand. Under the Sea would be devastating here, just leaving the Rose and Genie Dragon on board. And I drop the Ramp Donald, dropping another 2 quester on board, questing with all of my characters, going up to 19. So now he has to deal with my entire board. And I counted his lore on board, so even though with Cobra or with White Rose he couldn't finish the game, and he can't handle the ready Donald, which basically wins me the game here, because the other characters he could have been taken out with some combinations. Yes, but this is game number 1. I think in game number 1 there wasn't a real play mistake here on both sides, so nothing really he could do. I found 2 Hades at the right time. I had at least 2 cards of my big Clarabelle early on in the game. And yeah, I think nothing he could do in this game number 1 against my green-blue deck, because I just had too many big characters, and he always had to trade 2 characters of his own into my big bodies. And yeah, game number 2, I will be on the draw, which can be also like advantage for this deck, having more cards in hand, having more cards to play, more options. And the only thing I need to watch is bell value, and of course not letting him getting too wide and building up a huge board so I can deal with him. And of course I need to find an Under the Sea. And yeah, let's see how game number 2 goes. On the draw for me, and yeah, purple steel on the play. Game number 2, turn 1, he's dropping a Diablo, inking a 5-cost Elsa. And I'm dropping 4-drop Donald, aiming for Develop Your Brain, because I didn't find the 1-drop Clarabelle with my mulligan and passing the turn here. He is inking a white rose, which can be crucial later in the game, and he's not having a 2-drop character, not even a 1-drop character, so he's just inking, questing with Diablo. I play Sail the Azurite Sea, and missing a 2-drop character with purple steel, which you need to go wide, you need to drop characters each turn, is devastating. And I find the small Clarabelle off my Sail the Azurite Sea and drop her in turn 2. So the shift is alive. He's playing a Pete here, preventing me from more damages, actions, I mean, and questing with Diablo, going up 2 lore. So I can't play any actions, inking a John Silver and playing Donald Duck, which draws cards, both players, at the beginning of my turn. And he's playing a Genie, drawing another card. And then he's deciding to quest again with Diablo. Already made 3 lore for him, so yeah. Here with I draw off Donald, he doesn't draw off Donald because he doesn't want to have so many hand cards, because he knows, okay, probably the shift Clarabelle is coming in this turn. And I think, yeah, I ink another John Silver and I play the Ramp Donald here because I think I had so many hand cards, so I wouldn't have a payoff of Clarabelle, and I opted for the additional ramp, so I can drop 7 drop characters in the next turn. And I just leave my board not questing here. Can't deal with Ready Genie anyway and Pete, and I try to give him another lore with his Diablo. He is at 4 ink now. He's really thinking carefully because he knows this matchup is hard for him and he needs to plan his turns carefully. Taking out my small Clarabelle here, just putting an enchanted Dumbo into his Inkwell, 300 euros, going into the Inkwell, questing with Diablo and Genie, going up to 6 lore. So with 7 ink, I opt for the Hades, aiming for Pete, and then I sing Under the Sea with both the Donalds, removing his entire board in this turn, which was a huge turn by me, because this is what you want to see. Aiming for the big characters you can target with Under the Sea, and then target the rest with Under the Sea, sending his cards under the deck. He's dropping another Genie, drawing off more cards. He's also at 6 ink already with the help of my Hades, and thinking carefully what he's going to do next. He has 2 ink available. Didn't ink for turn. And yeah, inking another 5-drop Elsa and dropping another Pete, preventing actions from my side, so I can't sing any song or play actions. He's drawing off Donald as well, because I have so many hand cards. I think I was at 4 or 5 cards in hand, so Clarabelle wouldn't have helped me here. I am at 7 ink. I can ink for turn, and I'm dropping John Silver here. And I remember, even though I don't point it here, I said his Pete can't quest next turn because his Pete won't survive a challenge into my Hades or Donald. Genie would have survived, so I opted for the Pete, giving him Reckless and not questing with my draw Donald. So here he has to challenge into my Donald with Pete, and then he's making a little mistake here, but since we are not super highly competitive, I told him, yeah, take it back, do the challenging first. He's taking out my Donald, leaving 3 damage on Genie, and then putting the 3 damage with Belle onto my Hades, which is perfectly okay, dropping a Calhoun with remaining ink and leaving him with 2 cards in hand. So We both draw off Donald, giving me more options for this turn. Still at 7 ink. And inking a 3-drop Clarabelle here. And with 7 ink, I drop the big Clarabelle. Because I have a plan. And I quest with John Silver here, giving Genie Reckless for the next turn. And leaving me with 3 hand cards, questing with Hades as well. And Donald is singing You're Welcome onto Belle. Shuffling into his deck. He has to draw 2 more cards. And he's going up to 5 hand cards. I have only 2, so I will draw 3 cards of Clarabelle at the end of the turn, leaving only Calhoun on the board ready to challenge. And Genie has Reckless, of course, but Genie can't take out the character. And he's inking a Cobra. And I tell you guys, in Purple Steel against the Green Blue deck, you need those reach cards with Cobra and White Rose, because sometimes you just have to push yourself over the finish line. He's going into Hades here, leaving 3 damage on Genie again. Then with 5 ink, he's playing another Belle. I don't know if it was a new one or the same one he just shuffled into his deck. And he's putting 3 damage on my Donald. And then taking out Donald with Calhoun, gaining 2 lore and just leaving 1 damage on Calhoun. So she is alive. And dropping another White Rose, gaining 1 more lore. So he's at 9 now. And yeah, my draw Donald is gone. So I draw only 1 card at this point. And I think board-wise, we are kind of even right now. I play Visions of the Future, looking at the top 5 cards, getting the card in hand I really need. And Under the Sea wouldn't have helped me here because he had Belle, White Rose, and Calhoun on board. Only Genie would have gone under the deck. And I think I opt for another Hades here, because Hades can just remove a character instantly. So I ink a Tipo and yeah, going through my options. You can see I have a Sail the Azeroth Sea in my hand as well, so I could like power ramp, also dropping my hand, drawing off Clarabelle, but I need to fight his board a bit and get rid of some characters. So I play, as I said, another Hades onto his Belle, because Belle is hard to remove with 4 strength, 4 willpower. Then I quest with John Silver, giving his Genie Reckless again, and yeah, taking out the Calhoun with Hades, because this is a favorable trade for me. Taking out his Calhoun, otherwise he would have gained 2 lore the next turn probably. Dropping an Isma here for more card draw, and here is the Cobra, gaining him 2 lore. And this is what I tell you guys, you need reach against this matchup. So inking your White Roses, inking your Cobras might not be the way to go. And he's finding Strangler Raging Fire off a dog, singing it with Genie, taking out my John Silver, dealing 5 damage. So I have only Hades and Clarabelle on board, and he's a rather wide board. I forgot the quest with White Rose, going up to 12 lore here. And I think it's 12 lore against 10 lore for me. I'm playing another Sail the Azeroth Sea here, drawing another card, gaining another option. And here you see me preparing 7 ink, dropping a 7 cost Basil, sending his Isma back to hand. And then, I don't know. I need to deal with his board at some point, because he has 4 characters out. He has the Cobra, he has Genie, questing for a bunch of lore here. So I'm thinking heads held high, giving all his characters -3 strength, healing characters, so I can take his illusion character. I'm healing the giant Cobra, targeting with a spell and removing it instantly. And he's dropping 3 more characters, Yzma, Captain Hook and Diablo, going wide again, and he's just questing here. He's trying to win the race here against my big bodies, and I find another Basil, sending his Yzma back to hand, questing with the other Basil, so he has to discard the single card he has in hand. And I have Hades and Clarabelle available to challenge or quest here. It's 15 lore for him, so a White Rose or a Cobra could just win him the game next turn. But we saw he already inked 1 Cobra, he already inked 1 White Rose, and he already played 2 White Roses. So there isn't much reach left in his deck. Not much instant lore gain for him. And we talked after the game, and he said like, okay, inking the White Rose or not playing it in turn 3 when he played the Pete was maybe a mistake. So the additional lore would have probably helped him here. And this advice I can give you against Green Blue: keep your reach cards and use them wisely. He's going up to 18 here, and I win the game because of my big bodies and 2 lore questers. Yes, guys. So that's it for today. I think this was a good showcase of how to play Green Blue against Purple Steel. Not many mistakes were made here on both sides. I will link both deck lists in the video description below, and you can look forward to more Green Blue gameplay this week. There will be another video coming on Wednesday, Green Blue Mirror, and at the end of the week I will drop the final boss, Green Blue against Blurple, the hardest matchup probably. Yeah, look forward to it. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe, like the video. I'm always happy about new viewers. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Flokki.